loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought. Facing the rising sun of our new day, become. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won.
Welcome to occupied Mechoopda territory. 180 years ago, when California was founded, the Mechoopda tribal people have been here for thousands of years. And when this land was taken under occupation of the Bidwell regime, they were brought in under a Mexican land grant. So they were given this land as a Mexican land grant. The Mechoopda people did not concede this land to anyone, and they did not sell this land to anyone. The Mechoopda tribe, along with other local tribes, got into an agreement called the Peace and Friendship Treaty with John Bidwell and the United States government so that we could live together in prosperity, land for natives and land for non-natives, adjacent to each other, living in mutual respect. However, that agreement was thrown out of Congress, and the local tribes actually didn't get anything that they agreed to. So for the last 180 years, this community has taken stolen land and offered themselves prosperity for non-natives. This is occupied Mechoopda territory, and we are still here. We are here to take care and manage our land as stewards, and we are respectful not only to our neighbors, but also to our four-legs and two-leg creatures that live within our territory as well. And I want to welcome you to occupied Mechoopda territory and allow you to understand the occupation that took place 180 years ago and the efforts to take care of this land with the integrity of indigenous people. So traditional ecological knowledge, also known as TEK, is the knowledge passed down from tribal member to tribal member on how to manage the land. And sometimes we use acculturated tools like clippers, but we also have digging sticks. This cultural education on how we manage plants is really vital to how we see the differences of how our ecosystems are taken care of. So here I'm at Verbena Fields, and we have been cutting down willow and mule fat. Willow and mule fat have been put down to bring in water and to expand the integrity of the Rio Lindo channel. In order for that to be done, we do need to cut the tops of willow and mule fat for them to have a regenerative cycle to the next spring season. So we should be seeing a lot more green and healthy plants coming up in the spring, and they will sustain not only the integrity of this watershed, but also it will expand the creek itself and relieve this area as a flood zone. So there's two ideas of coming onto this area. One is to manage the plants, and two is to manage the watershed. So this is traditional ecological knowledge, studying the land and making improvements not only for the benefit of humans, but for the benefit of everybody.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, rise like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. Bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. All we need is hope. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. Yeah. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we will rise, yeah. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, rise like the waves. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
On the 3rd of June this year, a commentator by the name of Trevor Noah shared words of anger, distraught, and disbelief with his viewers that tune into his show by discussing his outrage regarding broken contracts. He shared that society has broken its social contract with Black Americans. I believe the contract is not only broken with the African American community, but those who are marginalized, poor, and in general, people of color. The contract was one that was designed on how interactions should occur with others. how we live together and engage with one another. However, this contract was nullified with repeated incidents of lives being brutally snatched away. There are at least 100 names spanning from Eric Gardner to locally a young man by the name of Desmond Phillips to George Floyd that have been lost to police violence alone, not considering crime statistics within our various communities. George Floyd's death by knee on neck caused us to grasp aloud because of us witnessing his death not one time, not twice, but over and over again as it played over the airwaves like a short movie. This broken social contract between people, citizens of a disunited States of America, has led to a disparity of unparalleled proportions. Disparities regarding education and socioeconomic opportunities, as well as the potential to enjoy stable and productive communities. Today, the United States of America has the responsibility to develop and implement a new contract for how we must live with each other so that the lives and the community are not stifled, but allowed to thrive and flourish. This can only take place with restoring the soul within our communities. Understand, my brothers and my sisters, that restoration is defined by the return of something to a former place or condition, or to bring back or put back something to a former or original state. We as a community are tasked today with restoring and reviving our collective souls of our community to its former place and condition. No, this is not an easy task, because we as a nation have sat down and become complacent and complicit with current world order, which is seeing things that are out of order and accepting that condition as the new normal. What conditions are present that make folk fall in love where they live, along with the people who have chosen to live in these unique spaces called communities? What happens when members are proud of the communities they reside, are optimistic about their futures, and are emotionally invested in staying in these places? Emotional engagement requires insight into the dynamics of how a community space affects people. Our attachments to our community is not the result of the ability to simply earn a living. Oh no, but it is in fact, the more a person loves the spaces in which they live, the more that community will experience economic vitality. When the soul, the inner person, is nurtured and edified as important despite our differences such as age, gender, sexuality, ethnicity, race, creed, or color, we all flourish if we love where we live. And we can only love where we live when certain norms are present. 1, loving your neighbor as we love ourselves. Love allows each of us the opportunity to change and challenge the things that should be inalienable rights. Those rights being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can get gainful employment based on your skills, education, or both, as well as make a decent salary with sufficient job satisfaction. When you enjoy where you work, it's easy to get up and go. Your emotional attachment goes farther in an atmosphere where you feel the love. Invariably, you'll want to stay there, and when you want to stay there, you'll look at purchasing where you love to stay. It will be no more us and them. We will live in the same places, so we desire the same things to take place, things we all can benefit from. The manner that we engage in community policing then will reflect the same love. The good trouble of stirring up change when we see behavior that is unacceptable. We recognize through our relationships we care about our neighbors. We care about what they're dealing with, whether it be job loss, health challenges, or family dilemmas. We still speak to each and every one of our neighbors so that we are empathetic to what they might be going through, and address instances of community blight, by working together to reach a viable resolution. We can lend a hand to our fellow man and never allow ourselves as community to give up, give in, or throw in the towel. We remain partners in developing solutions and not allow any type of marginalization, oppressive structures, mass incarceration, or death to be the outcome. Instead, we work toward goals to create the best versions of ourselves by leveraging our skills and ability to create positive change. Lastly, restoring the soul of the community, our cities, states, and nations back to its former glory requires that we believe that our communities will be better places for us to love. We anticipate an optimistic outcome, which drives each of us to work towards attaining what we need to achieve. Again, this change allows us to reimagine our communities with a restored soul contained therein. Non-engagement with any citizen fragments relationships, and our souls then become emaciated and crippled. Yes, loving our neighbor. The Amos 5:24 text says, but let justice roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Because what does God require of you? And what does God require of me? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with our God. And my God is for justice. And if there is no mercy, and if there is no mercy, there is no justice. As you reflect on these possibilities, observe the current example of what you see going on around you. The oldest church right here in Chico, California, Bethel AME, is being restored. This restoration project is symbolic of what restoration that has, this restoration project is symbolic of what restoring the soul of the community is really all about. Because the community recognized each aspect of the restoration that has been shared with the members of this community by contributions of not only hand, heart, but of their treasure. We have prayed together monthly for the project's success and protections of individuals involved. Yes, we have had so many contribute as the building is being returned to its former glory, because we all recognize the spirit and the soul has been revived and is being revived. The miraculous part of everything that has to do with this project is witnessing a tremendous gift from Trinity United Methodist of the former Belle, named Lizzie, lovingly taken care of for the past 55 years. Yes, this tremendous gift back to Bethel is the epitome of loving our neighbors so much that we only want the best for our neighbors, giving of wonderful gifts instead of receiving them. Can't we, those who reside in Chico and on the outskirts, use this model of community to tear down walls that separate us and continually build spaces that include strengthening our relationships? We have work to do. We all are responsible for restoring the soul of our community. God bless each of you.
The initial declaration said every man is equal, but in the sequel deemed blacks 3/5 and women feeble. Now the marginalized riot and repeat the uprise until the connection is capsized. Tyrants get baptized, liberals get chastised, surprised who's on that side and why. We argue till the sky changes colors and divides into the night. Different leaves, different roots, same trees, reaching for the sun, striving for the change, a new day, to lose less. But when you've never felt the darkness of oppression, the shade of equality can resemble it. Refuse to choose to remain ignorant, eradicate the hate we're conditioned to live within. We can learn from the flaws of our history from scholars and books, or repeat them by hook or by crook. Trying to find a change, and I kinda find it strange How we while around in pain, while some what's left us broken, trying to find a joke to stop the pain that's poking, but it's potent, deep as oceans. No need for quotings, this is real as potions you would rub your nose with in hopes to keep from roasting it. A smallpox and syphilis exposure with no hope of closure from the government. That exposure, the Tuskegee and Trail of Tears, they never showed you where I growed up. I had to seek the change and peep the folders. Now like hold up, I speak to show what got us here and how, so we could buy a vowel and solve the puzzle here and now. But they ain't having it. They see your fallacy, they grabbing it. Red herrings fill the cabinet. Deflecting for you, ask them. Yo, try to find a change. Try to find a change. Try to find a change and freedom to fix what we done. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change and freedom to fix what we done. I don't want your handout, I just want my freedom so I can go on and live mine. Can't a fella live his life without you trying to dim my light, deflecting where the cries unite, like bad things ain't never happened to a man that's living right. Or if I ain't lived a perfect life, then I deserve to die. Who can't tell the difference between a bio and a child's life? White folks on the internet been speaking mad crazily, but you ain't clever to the egg, all that's just lack of bravery. I ain't trying to blame you for the past, shadow slavery, but yesterday had to have a yesteryear for the day to be. Until we rectify the flaws of the past, we'll never heal. And if we don't educate ourselves, the children never will. But if we get past the fear and ego, we'll forever build. So open up your mind and find a change, or we never will. They say in the idol's hands is where the devil lives. I'd say the ones tying the noose, these lazy seconds in. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change. And freedom to fix what we done. Trying to find a change. We've been trying to find a change. Trying to find a change and freedom to fix what we done. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change and freedom to fix what we done. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change. Trying to find a change and freedom to fix what we done.
So my name is Melody Prepstall. I am the Regional Director and Chief Advocacy Officer for United Way of Northern California. I am currently the administrator of the North State Equity Fund, which was created as a collaboration between United Way of Northern California, North Valley Community Foundation, and the Community Foundation of the North State. We decided after the murder of George Floyd to put our resources together and find ways to fund programs and projects and organizations in our community that were working on issues around racial justice, social justice, equity, and addressing inequities in a variety of ways. The focus of the fund is specifically looking at racial issues because I feel like so often people create resources with really good intentions, and they tend to get directed to communities that have more privilege. And we really want to make sure that we are looking at people who are doing on the ground work and may not have as easy access to resources. This started in, the concept started in June of 2020, and July 2020 we identified 6 agencies that we wanted to fund initially. So we reached out to those agencies, including here in Butte County, the African American Family and Cultural Center, the Hmong Cultural Center of Butte County, and Stonewall Alliance. And so each of those 3 received small grants of $3,500 that were intended to cover operational expenses. We held a convening of our 6 grantees at the beginning of October, and so we all met over Zoom and talked about the work that we've been doing, talked about our challenges, looked at ways that people could support each other and collaborate. And really what I would love to see happening as a result of this work is that organizations can build their networks, can learn from each other, and even further each other's work. So the primary goals of the North State Equity Fund are to support organizations that are doing important work focused on racial equity and social justice in our communities. It's to help build networks of organizations that are doing this work so that they can collaborate and build on each other's great work. And it's also to increase access for the community to better understanding of the issues. We're looking at ways to create more relationship-based grant programs, which means that we are not so much interested in reports as having a relationship, hearing about their challenges, learning ways that we can support each other, and basically learning how to build a better community. So we released a call for letters of interest in the fall of 2020 for our second round of funding, and we received requests from 22 organizations that were looking for financial support. We are currently reviewing the applications and making decisions, but we're very excited to be able to support the MLK celebration event today, and we're very excited to be able to announce soon the recipients of the second phase of our grants. After receiving the 22 letters of interest from organizations throughout our 9-county region, we have a group of community members that will be convening to review the applications and make a selection. We're looking for community members to be engaged in the entire process so that we can ensure the work that is getting done is really addressing the needs that exist.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like, I think I'm just gonna
relax.
Yeah. Do you want to try it? When you grow vegetables, you kind of develop an appetite for them. So even at a school, when kids come to school and they don't eat hardly any vegetables, when they grow them themselves, they love to eat them. It's just so fun.
Grade slowly as soon as you pick it.
Exactly. So if you want the maximum vitamins and minerals and proteins from your food, the fresher it is, the better, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've been in this growing food since I was about 10 years old. I remember starting to grow my own food, you know. From that day on, I'm still basically growing food, so, you know, food is a part of my existence.
So just peel off the skin first?
Yeah, so what you do is just, like everything we do, hard work pays off, you know. So growing food to me, I don't really think it's hard work because it's sustaining me and it's sustaining my family. So learning how to take care of the land is a part of what take care of us, see? So for me, I consider the earth a part of me and I'm a part of the earth, you know.
Can another pastor restrict me? Let this time around they won't skip me. I am the last hope. Won't hesitate, not even for a second. The hustle has become an obsession. I'm on the front lines with my weapon. I am the last hope.
I'm still singing moms crying. I'm still singing kids dying. It's like we just stopped trying to reach and preach to those who were living life. I'm tired of the hurt and pain. I'm tired of this constant rain. I just wanted to bring the sunshine so we can barbecue like it's the summertime. We act like there ain't enough time. We can't stop just to share a high. We stuck like we all high, heads in the clouds just trying to live the perfect life that we see on TV and the magazines. We forgot all about the dream. We got to learn from Dr. King. We got the keys to set this whole world free.
I gotta make it out and move quickly. Can another pastor restrict me? Let this time around they won't skip me. I am the last hope. Won't hesitate, not even for a second. The hustle has become an obsession. I'm on the front lines with my weapon. I am the last hope.
Looking out this window through a shaded tint. World so dark now, we lost, nobody's innocent. And a whole lot of people talking, I ain't missing it. Just a bunch of lip moving, but no solution. What I'm dealing with, tired of the blind eyes, took these all slides. Seeing mothers crying over kids' bodies too many times. Confused by the negativity, it changed my mind. Thinking it was fine, why? Cause it happens all the time. Can't believe in the words that I spoke. I can't breathe, officer, you're killed in the smoke. You're telling me this justice, I'm just laughing at your joke. Tell you that it's just us, so let the people know. We gotta put our hands up and shout for our lives. It's about time that we take pride in our lives. Be the change that you wanna see. Saving life starts right here with you and me. Let's go.
I gotta make it out and move quickly. Can another pastor restrict me? Let this time around they won't skip me. I am the last hope. Won't hesitate, not even for a second. The hustle has become an obsession. I'm on the front lines.
My name is Alyssa Larson. I am the Events and Volunteers Coordinator for Stonewall Alliance of Chico. Stonewall Chico is an LGBTQ nonprofit organization in Chico. We serve the community and allies. We provide a wide range of services, including low to no cost counseling, free social and support groups, free and confidential HIV and hepatitis C testing, advocacy, events like Chico Pride, and a lot of other things. We have been really glad with the money that we received from the United Way Fund It allowed us to fill a couple of gaps that we saw in our community. Because we work with the LGBTQ plus community, we mostly are focusing right now on the QTPOC, which means queer and trans people of color community, which is a group of folks who are very disproportionately placed in situations where they are affected by things like financial instability, housing instability, things like that. So we used the funds from United Way to help us launch two different projects. One was called SAS, which stands for Safer Action Support with Stonewall. And that is a team of community members who we gathered because we saw that folks of color, and especially queer and trans people of color in our local Chico community, were trying to organize activist and social justice events, but we're facing a lot of threats of safety, and we're struggling with being able to do the important work and get their voices heard because they were worried about and dealing with safety concerns, organizational issues, things like that. And so we sort of mobilized ourselves and a group of other community volunteers to organize this sort of observe, report, and de-escalate style safety support for people who needed the support to be able to carry out these important actions and get their voices heard in our community. The other thing that we used the United Way funds for was our QT-POC Direct Aid Fund. And what that is literally a direct aid fund for people who are in need of emergency financial relief. And so we are able to provide sort of a one-time just gift of up to $500, and then other things if we can help as well, to people who are in need of things to get by so that they don't lose their housing, or they don't lose their car, or their power doesn't get turned off, because we know that when that happens in people's lives, it can be the catalyst to more and more things happening to them that then spirals out of their ability to pull back from. And so we wanted to prevent disasters from happening to people just because they were missing some money during a time when, as we all know, money is extremely hard to reliably come by for a lot of folks. So our United Way grant money allowed us to hold fundraisers, put in the staff hours, use organization on our side to be able to finance, fund, and organize these things.
This next song is by Brian Courtney Wilson. I experienced this song at a really pivotal time in my life, where I found myself having some health challenges, and I had to really, move beyond simply just praying, but engaging in a real relationship with God. And part of that sometimes is God has to isolate you, get you by yourself, so God can speak a word to you, so God can speak power in your life. And what God does to do that is to drown out the noise. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Gone are those distractions that have been haunting me so long. Pointless matters, broken and shattered, are the disguised voices yielding sinful choices. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Oh, I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Gone are those distractions which have been haunting me so long. Pointless matters, broken and shattered, are the disguised voices yielding sinful choices. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Should I stand over here? Should I walk over there? How long should I try? What color should I wear? Should someone else prepare? Or is even here? Who matters? Because Jesus is near. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Gone are those distractions which had been haunting me so long, so long. Pointless matters are broken and shattered, are the disguised voices yielding sinful choices. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. Should I stand over here? Should I walk over there? Should I walk there? Oh, is there another pair? Who will be present? Will someone else appear? As long as I'm in His presence and Jesus is near. I can hear God clearly now that the noise is gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. The noise is gone. Thank you.
I've always had questions about my ancestry, which I later realized was my African heritage. I had questions. Most of us don't know much before slavery. Slavery is not our history. Slavery interrupted our history. We're in the process of reclaiming our ancient records of the past. That's what I'm involved with Ama Culture, to assure that all children, all people know that African Americans, people throughout the African diaspora, have a great ancient heritage. Reconciliation, I think, for me, all people being able to tell their story and have their story known and understood. Without an understanding of each person's story, that reconciliation is not going to be able to happen. Restoration within the context of the work that I'm doing, I'm utilizing the work, the research of great scholars that have gone on before me. So I'm in a process of learning later in life about the ancient African contributions to the world and American society in particular, and disseminating that in a fun and enthusiastic way. When you say resilience, I think of my elders and the sometimes hostile situations that they would face socially, having faith in something greater, I think is the basis of the resilience that makes a difference. We realize that we're living in a society that has been established on white male supremacy. We're realizing that. Now, the ways that white supremacy are upheld is often subtle. But when we realize that we're immersed in it through education, through advertising, through media, through quote, entertainment, through the news, when we realize that we're immersed, it's like we can't let our guard down. And it doesn't mean that we want to live on the defensive. We just understand that black, white, everybody in between is being programmed and conditioned to see white as supreme. So once we come to that awareness, we can deal with each other in a more transparent and effective way. And also, I'm aware that if I had learned about kings and queens of Africa that resisted through military prowess as well as diplomacy, if I had learned these things much earlier in life, it would have made a difference. It's been said that no matter what course of study a child takes or a young person takes, or what occupation they choose for themselves, if they know their history, it's going to give them a sense of identity and pride and knowing who they are. I'd like to see that happen more in education, whether educators are motivated and inspired to learn more themselves. Organizations like Culture are called in to help supplement, but to just help increase knowledge, decrease ignorance. I believe that that will help mitigate issues within our community and all communities. We have to be seen. We have to allow ourselves to be seen. We have to get involved. We have to speak our truth. This is a very trying time, as all times probably have been for people that are aware that others are suffering. We have to stand up and be a part of. Just find a way to be a part of. So, I mean, I would say every elder, and pardon me for distinguishing, every black elder that I've ever known has had a sense of community and compassion, and I wouldn't be where I am today and having these goals if they hadn't done it before me.
How you doing? Coach Stephen here, owner of BTA Elite Academy, behind the Athletes League Academy. Just want to mention a couple things about what these three words mean to me: reconciliation, restoration, right?
Resilience.
And resilience. To me, basically, with resilience, to just never give up, keep fighting for what you believe in, stand strong in what you believe in, whether people try to knock you down or, you hear bad things about it or whatever the case may be, just keep fighting, just keep going. Reconciliation, make peace with everything. Don't hold on or harbor to any ill feeling or have any ill matter towards people or anything, because at the end of the day, life goes on and we just have to change with it. And restoration, man, and just keep going, just keep fighting, just restore everything in order in your home, whether, in the community with everybody here in town and wherever you may be. Just continue to keep fighting for the cause and stand strong with it and believe in what you believe in what you're fighting for, and know that what you're standing up for and fighting for, that years down the line, generations, that it will make a difference, because they will know that, whatever work that you put in now means something to those that's coming in the future generations.
My name is Sanya, the director of the Hmong Cultural Center, Big County. And Hmong Cultural Center, Big County is a nonprofit organization which serves and supports the Hmong and Southeast Asia community. And I would like to thank you for the United Way, Northern California, which funds us the equity and justice funding. That small funding, many grants, that's really helpful for the organization like the Hmong Cultural Center, because it will be able to educate and help both the Hmong, the Southeast Asia community, and the community at large during this difficult time. And also I would like to highlight some of the programs that we have at the Hmong Cultural Center. We have the the Rongxia program, which is for the elderly. We have over 70 participants for that program, which is funded by the Bill County Department of Behavioral Health. And also we also have the youth program as well to help the youth from elementary school to high school to college, and to do the homework, to support the after-school program and some other cultural activity for the youth. And other than that, we also have the talk line, which during this time they can call a talk line number to discuss the issue, mental health issue, or issue that they have. That is another program that we have. And we do have many other programs, such like the Tutu Minua, which the raise the child for 0 to 5, helping the younger parents to help how to raise the kids in this country, because we do know that there is a really challenge and difficulty in raising kids, for those younger parents. And we also have a more, and the other program we have is the Promotora. We do have both in Ecological and Chico. So we have more than that. If anybody would like to check with us, feel free to visit us on our website at www.hmongculturalcenter.net for any question that you may have. Don't hesitate to give us a call. Our number is 530-534-7474.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Person Jr. I am a minister here at Second Baptist Church of Chico. Today I'm going to be singing a song called Wade in the Water. But first, before I sing it, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the song to kind of explain some of the meaning and the origins of it. Wade in the Water is an African-American spiritual, part of a true American art form, which led to the blues, jazz, R&B, and even hip-hop. For African-American slaves, song was an important, significant form of communication. Forbidden to read, many could not. Song was a way to illuminate the basic elements of the Christian faith: love, hope, mercy, grace, justice, judgment, death, and eternal life. It was a way to pass on wisdom and knowledge from the scripture, lessons learned in the fields and in the living quarters and at secret church services. Many sources claim that Wade in the Water was a song that contained codes, explicit instructions for slaves on the run to freedom on how to avoid capture and to make their way to the Freedom Land. An example of this is cited in the book Pathways to Freedom, Maryland and the Underground Railroad. The book explains how Harriet Tubman used the song Wade in the Water to tell escaping slaves to get off the trail and into the water to make sure that the dogs employed by the slavers lost their trail. And biblically, Wade in the Water references to both the Old Testament and the New Testament in the Bible. The escape out of Egypt in Exodus 14, and God healing at the pool of Bethesda in John 5:4. Yolanda Y. Smith, from her Yale University Reflections, the Bible and Song, Reclaiming African American Spiritual, the refrain in Wade in the Water is based upon the narrative of John 5:2-9. It is the story of the pool by the sheep gate, Bethesda. A portion of this passage follows. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent people, blind, withered, halt, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled, and I say troubled, the water. Whosoever then first, after troubling the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. Perhaps among other possibilities, there is a reference of healing in body and soul. And in regards to this, Howard Thurman, former dean of the chapel at Howard University, offered this interpretation. For the slaves, the troubled waters meant ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life. Within the context of the troubled waters of life, there are healing waters, because God is in the midst of the turmoil. Though African American spirituals were born in pain, oppression, and struggle of a particular people, they have become songs for all people. Thurman's conclusion is a message for us all. Do not shrink from moving confidently out into the choppy seas. Wade in the water, because God is troubling the water. As we celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ and a social activist, we see a man that urged his people to trust God and wade in the water. Change is going to come because God is troubling the waters. God is troubling the waters. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, you see that host all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, the leader looks like the Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, you see that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, it looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade over yonder, what do I see? God's gonna trouble the water. The Holy Ghost is coming on me. God's gonna trouble the water. Way in the water. Way in the water, children. Way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, if you don't believe I've been redeemed, God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, follow me down to the Jordan stream. God's gonna trouble the water. Way in the water. Way in the water, children. Way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. I went to the altar one day to pray. God's gonna trouble the water. My soul got happy, so I stayed all day. God's gonna trouble the water. Way in the water. Way in the water, children. Way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, I went to the water. Hot water was cold. God's gonna trouble the water. I would chill my body, but not my soul. God's gonna trouble the water. Way in the water. Way in the water, children. Way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, my God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. I say, God's gonna trouble the water. Amen.
Hello, my name is Bobby Jones Sr., the Executive Director here at the African American Family and Cultural Center in the South Side of Oroville, where we have been in business this May 2021 for 10 years. Our current mainstream of funding is through Butte County Department of Behavioral Health, so I want to thank them, as well as another of our partners is Youth for Change. The current prevention and early intervention programs we offer during this COVID pandemic are KOYO Media Project, which is a program that offers opportunities to learn skills in the media field, from filming, editing, and finalizing audio and video production. This project, in collaboration with Butte County Access Channel and through funding from the North Valley Community Foundation, United Way, and Shasta Regional Medical Center, has allowed us to have courageous conversation about the inequities that people of color face here in the U.S. as well as here in Butte County. Also, part of the equity work we are doing is through a collaboration with California Health Collaborative, where a lead program is Leadership, Education, and Development, is a project that we are working within 3 jurisdictions to provide health equities, where we are attempting within these 3 jurisdictions to create a minimum sale on all tobacco products. Also, this project is allowing us to work with all the local high schools as well as junior colleges and the local university to work alongside them to either create Black student unions or help work with the current Black student unions that exist on these campuses. If you would like more information about our programs, please contact us at 530-532-1205 or visit our website at aafcc-oroville.org. Like us on all our social media platforms. And once again, I want to thank all of our sponsors, including Butte County Department of Behavioral Health, Youth for Change, First Five Commission of Butte County, the Department of Employment and Social Services, Oroville Area Resource Support, which is a group of different agencies here in the North Valley. Also, North Valley Community Foundation, as well as the United Way of Northern California. Thank all these many agencies and organizations for allowing us to do outreach and educate our community.
wished I was a mole in the ground. I wish I was a mole in the ground. I was a mole in the ground. I ripped that mountain down. Well, I wished I was a mole in the ground.
Because nobody else would do it. You know, one of the things that people say, you know, is like, can you practice something that isn't your own culture? And I just feel this is an art form, and arts are for everybody. You know, arts are for everybody. They evolve, they change. And one of the things that Destiny said to me that just blew me away, because I always taught everything that he taught me the way he taught me. And they say he came out to get a special award in San Francisco a while ago, and he said, it was never my intention to repeat anything. He said, I'm an artist, I create. And I realized that what he was saying is that he had taken the traditional things that he was learning, and he had created something of his own out of it. And I kind of went, well, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And I do that. I mean, I use all my skills as a choreographer and a theatrical person, and you know, yoga teacher, and all these things, all my dance training, whether it's ballet or modern or ethnic. And I use it to get people to learn how to do it and do it effectively.
You get people excited about it, you know?
Yeah. And there's one dance that we do that especially I've got a tremendous lot of feedback for, and it's called Igbo. And Igbo is an ethnic group in Nigeria, right on the coast, and they were seized in great numbers and made to be slaves. There is a dance in Haiti, a lot of them were in Haiti. There is a dance in Haiti that's named for them about slavery and liberation. It's also about anything that you're up against that you need to break the chains. It would be an addiction, person, or your self-worth, or whatever it is that you need to assert something, that you can use this dance.
For me, as a community member, as a woman, and as a multi-ethnic woman, this offering of a cultural inheritance to me, as big or small as it ever is, a way for me to heal. I have no family, my mother's gone. For me, this is true spiritual healing. To be around my sisters and the children and the drumming and the reconciliation. Doing this, as it's always, as much as it can be a community effort outdoors where people are always wondering and asking questions. It's a lot different than being in the studio. This brings out everything about our community. That kind of puts it out there to be seen, so we can reconcile all the good and the bad.
And we won't lose it.
Amp it up and we will fuse it.
Interruption. Art. Theater. Music. Media production. To the searching rescue. Our community resolution. Sustainable solution. And with you. someday.